Abnormal Andy and Phantom Dark Dave. The Screaming Skull Podcast.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to a brand new episode of the Screaming Skull Podcast. We are your host. I'm Phantom Dark Dave.
And I'm Abnormal Andy.
And Andy, we are finally going to sit down and talk Scream 7.
Hell yeah, man. I've seen it twice in the theater now. How about you?
I've only seen it once. I really wanted to go again, but things just didn't work out. But, I had a question for you. Is this the only Scream movie that you've seen twice in theater?
No, the first Scream back in 1996. I saw that like 3 times in the theater.
Oh, man, I like how you emphasize that was 30 years ago. You're making this sound really old right now.
Yeah, it was 30 years ago, yeah.
That's awesome, man. I did see I've seen every Scream movie in theater except Part 4, but I never seen a Scream movie multiple times. But maybe I can make some exceptions and do that for Scream 7 because, spoiler, we both really like the movie. So,
Yeah.
Andy, when we get into some of these episodes, sometimes we kind of just do a little homework. We catch up with stuff, and sometimes we do horror news. But I thought today it would be really fun. I conjured up a little thing that I call 7 fun facts about Scream 7, and we'll use that for the opening of the episode. You cool with that?
I'm cool with it, man.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I didn't tell Andy what I was doing, so I just put this together. None of this is going to be like news to anybody because I imagine whoever's going to listen to this podcast are going to be such big fans of the franchise that this isn't going to fall on deaf ears. So here we go.
It's going to be
Number
a
one.
Scream. Oh.
It's going to be a Scream, baby. That's right. So, number one, this is the first Scream movie in the entire franchise to be directed by Kevin Williamson, who we all know was the writer of parts 1, 2, some of 4, and some of 7. And Andy, when we did our covering of the Scream franchise of 1 through 6 and kind of talked about our excitement for 7, this was one of the big draw points. We were pretty excited to know that Kevin was directing this one.
Yeah, kind of getting. I mean, the only thing that would have made it more cooler is if Wes Craven could have been involved. But
Of course.
you got Sidney, you got Kevin Williamson, you got, it's kind of going back to that the not the OG, but it's kind of going back to that original crew that made the Scream what it is, and so it's just. It's really cool, and I really love. I mean, that's what this movie is, right? It's nostalgia. They even talk about that in the movie itself. So yeah, I loved it.
Okay, so fun fact number 2, as you've kind of started to mention, I was like, okay, stop talking because I only asked you about Kevin. This is the 7th time that Roger Jackson is coming back to voice Ghostface, and is the 7th time that we get Courtney Cox back to do Gale Weathers. And dude, they're the only 2 members of the entire crew to be associated with all 7 films.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
That continues to feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
I mean, Roger Jackson's voice is great. It's iconic. I mean, you can't do a
Could you
Scream
imagine if it was a different voice at all? Like
Scream TV series.
Scream 3, what?
Scream TV series.
Oh, okay. Well, fair, but we're not talking about the TV series. No
Yeah.
matter as much as Marty is waiting, and he's waiting. So we're gonna have to bring him on when we want to talk about the TV show. Have you seen the series? And obviously, you're made a note to it. Have you seen all of it?
I have. I've seen all
Okay.
3 seasons. Yep.
I've only seen the first 2 seasons. I just recently acquired season 3. Riley's been really wanting to watch them, so we're going to eventually do that. But all right, let's move on. Fun fact number 3. The idea of the panic room that was used in the movie, I thought was probably pulled from like Halloween 2018 because we saw that with the Laurie Strode thing. But it was in fact based on the panic room that Kevin Williamson kind of had at one of his homes. And so that's kind of cool knowing that.
Yeah, that's interesting. It kind of fits with Sydney Evans being like not a survivalist. She wasn't like a full-on survivalist, but she had like the full-blown security system with the little touchpad panel, whatever, blah blah blah. But yeah, it would make sense that, and her husband's like chief of police or whatever he is. He's some kind of police officer. So yeah, it just makes sense that they have like a little panic room, and we'll talk about that. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
we will. We will. Fun fact number 4, as we all know, this is the return of Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, or Sidney Evans, as she's now called. And that's huge because I don't know if people know this going in, but she is actually in this movie almost the exact same down to the minutes as she is in part one.
Oh, okay.
It was only like 2 or 3 minute difference tops, which is huge because Sydney was in all of them except for part six. But in some of them, she's kind of sprinkled in. No, she is back and she's in this almost as much as part one, and that is fantastic.
It is, man. She is like the OG final girl
She is.
for
And
Scream.
one thing that's cool is Ethan Embry makes an appearance in this movie, and he
Yeah.
originally auditioned for Scream 1. That was
Did
really
he?
cool to find out. He did.
Oh,
He
yeah.
went for either the Randy or Stu thing, but they passed on him. So it's kind of cool that down the road he got to at least, lend himself to the franchise. And
Hmm.
I really like Ethan Embry. Like as an actor, he's always done really well.
Yeah, it's cool to see another 90s icon get in there in the Scream franchise.
Exactly. Have you seen The Devil's Candy?
No, I've not seen that movie yet.
Such a fucking awesome movie. I've seen it
Okay.
so many times. He's the main character and he is phenomenal.
Yeah. I've known about the movie. I just have never taken the time to watch it. And I know you've told me about it. You told me you love it.
I
So
do.
I don't know why that means I have not
Yeah.
seen it. I don't
In
know.
a world where it's easy to see a million movies, sometimes these movies fall through the cracks, but I'm using this opportunity to once again put it on your radar. Watch it.
It's there, yeah.
Fun fact six, we talk about all these great returns. We can't leave out another big return to the franchise. We get composer Mark Beltrami, who actually composed the first four films. And it's really cool because, like you said, it kind of feels like the gang is getting all back together.
That's true. Yeah, that iconic Scream score happening. It's is it like the same music or did he like make totally new
He
music?
did make some new music,
Okay.
but being by the same composer, there's a lot of the same like feeling there. Like it's totally a Scream felt soundtrack.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. They all kind of have that same feel, which is it's all part of the Scream franchise, I feel like, you know.
It is. And then the seventh one is going to be no surprise to anybody who has social media. Scream 7 just fucking killed it at the box office. I mean, with the estimated budget of only $45 million, it as of this day, it's garnered over 177 million. And I've given you seven fun facts. I'm going to give you one fun opinion now. I think it's safe to say we're definitely going to be getting a Scream 8.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's I guess the Scream franchise has now grossed over $1 billion.
Yes,
So
and
that's
not many franchises have done that. I think this was like what eighth or something to join that list.
yeah,
And
there's other ones like, The Conjuring, I think has done it.
well, and that's the deal, I mean, I didn't deep dive this stuff. I don't know how much of it was adjusted for inflation or whatnot, but we all know there are several long time standing and running horror franchises. Horror is kind of the genre that has more sequels than anything else. And so you take all these different movies with every boogeyman that you know. And if you're asking me, I say it's about time that Ghostface has joined the party.
Yeah, so they're raking in all that money, the studios, so they're gonna make a Scream 8. I'm
They have
just
to. And
yeah.
we'll get into our feelings about this, but if it did anything, it also got me excited for what might come down the road because, like you said, I think Scream is definitely here to stay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's all I got for the opening. You ready to dive into the plot and do some spoilers and finally let loose our opinions? Because we've kind of text back and forth, but listeners don't know how we feel. We need to let them know.
Yeah, let's let them know.
Let's do the main event.
The main event.
Hello, Sidney. I'm gonna make everyone you love suffer. While you watch.
This killer has been planning his attack for years. Your daughter.
Tatum is the same age that you were when this whole thing started. This isn't gonna stop unless I stop it. Where is my daughter?
is gonna be fun.
Scream. Only in theaters. Tickets
All
on
right,
sale
Andy,
February
this
9th.
movie opens up and we're back in Woodsboro. And, we all know Scream movies are known for their opening sequences. And we get introduced to a couple of characters who are staying at an Airbnb. And wouldn't you know it, the Airbnb is Stu Macher's house.
Yeah, such a great setting for the opening, man. And it's just like it really sets the tone for the movie. This movie, as much as this is about Sydney and her daughter, this movie is also about Stu, I feel like. So this really sets the stage for what's to come. And I love having it at the Stumacher house. I love, it's like a true crime bed and breakfast or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a cool setting.
It is, man. And, we get so much of this house in the original Scream, and then we revisit it in Scream 5, and that was really well done. I kind of wish they hadn't have put it in the trailer in Scream 5, because it was definitely meant to be like a reveal, but they weren't holding back on this one. In Scream 7, like, it's all about what 90% of the trailer is like, we are in Stu's house, and it's an Airbnb, and like you said, it's like a murder, bed and breakfast or something. It's really neat, but our characters are Scott and his girlfriend Madison, and they chose to stay here because if you are a fan of real life murders, true crime, or the Stab franchise, this is the place for you. This thing has been completely outfitted with everything from like the chalk lines on the ground of like who died where, things are posted on the wall, and there's an animatronic Ghostface, and they even get a phone call from Ghostface, and it's pretty neat. But you can spend a lot of time gushing over how cool it is inside. The only thing that's not cool is if you stay there, my dude, you're probably going to get killed by Ghostface, because Ghostface shows up. And this is a pretty cool scene, because the one part they didn't put in the trailer is how Scott dies, and Scott gets stabbed in the head, like right through the temple, and his eye kind of rolls back. Pretty neat scene, but I bet it was even better seeing it twice.
Oh yeah, yeah, because I kind of forgot about his death scene the first time I watched it. I remember he got like this, the Ghostface like stabs him. I can't remember if he stabbed his hand, but he didn't. He actually just stabbed him in the chest or something, and then yeah, stabbed him in the head. It was such a cool scene, such a cool effect. Man, I love this whole bit with the animatronic Ghostface. It was so cool. I uh I don't know, like it's funny. The second time around, I was watching that thing to see when possibly Ghostface could have switched out with it, because that's kind of what happens. Like at first it's animatronic, but then when they go back in the room later on, it's actually Ghostface.
Right.
I was like, because there's part of like the next scene when they're on the phone with the Airbnb with Ghostface,
Yeah.
whatever, doing the little horror quiz, you can see the animatronic in the background. So I'm like watching it to see if it moves or whatever, and it
Mm-hmm.
didn't. So I was like, man, I wanted to, but I'm
Like,
sure,
how long was it Ghostface? Because at one point they do pull the mask back
yeah.
because she's kind of creeped out, and he's like, "You're being dumb. Check it out. It's an animatronic Ghostface. This thing it's cool. We get some like
hmm
Five Nights at Freddy's vibes here." But then later they pull the switcheroo, and we knew it was going to happen. And if I'm being honest, I'm pretty sure we're glad it did, because the scene is really awesome. And then it's followed by a really great cat and mouse scene that we see in the trailer where Madison's running around, Ghostface is chasing, and then you get the scene where she's like hanging on the chandelier, and then she falls. Ghostface turns around and impels her with a knife. It's a pretty well done sequence.
Yeah, this is probably up there. This is probably one of the better openings for a Scream movie, I have to say.
I'm glad you say that, because eventually I want to do some top threes, or maybe top fives of different Ghostface things and Scream related quizzes down the road. But, we talk about how Scott gets stabbed in the head. Madison does get stabbed, but she also gets drowned in gasoline and lit on fire in a super brutal way as she burns along with the Mocker house. And my dude, I guess we're not going to get the Mocker house in any more movies because everything burns down.
Yeah, and it's interesting, with her death scene, like she mentions that earlier when they first get into the house, they see the stove where Amber was
Yep. Pass the
burned,
torch, bitch. Yeah.
and yeah, and so she's like, man, I would hate to die like that, and so they're,
Oh, yeah, there you go. A little foreshadow. Love it.
yeah, but yeah, this will, like I said, sets the stage for the movie because they're burning Stu's house down, and so it kind of like it's like almost like making a burning down what was in the past to make a fresh start, almost, yeah.
Okay. And I mean, when watching it, we knew you called it from day one when we were talking. You're like, I feel like that's going to be the opening. And as soon as you
Yeah.
said it, I was like, damn, I think you're right. But also, there's something, they let loose in the trailer that like we're gonna have Stu Macher in some shape, way, or form. Matthew Lillard's gonna make a return, and
Yeah.
so I've been like since day one. I'm that guy. I joined that club of like Stu lives. I don't remember if you're in that club or
Oh
not. I
yeah,
know
me
you
too.
like.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're in that club. So I'm thinking like that would make sense if Stu is burning his own house down. Will that actually be what happens? Don't know. But we do get to catch up with Sydney. And, she's moved out of Woodsboro and she lives in a small town called Pine Grove, which is in Indiana. I was really pushing for Dallas, Texas. Turns out, no, Indiana. And, she's doing pretty well, man. She's been through a lot of traumatic stuff. She deserves, like, a happy ending. She's got a new life. As you mentioned, she's married to Mark Evans. He's a cop, played by Joel McHale. I've told the world how I fucking feel about Joe McHale. I'm, like, in the I Hate Joe McHale fan club until I saw this movie. Completely
Okay.
changed everything. I don't care much for Joel McHale, the overextensive Ryan Reynolds comedian style, but Joe
Yeah.
McHale as a serious actor and a Disney husband, completely loved it. I thought he was
Oh yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he played the role well. I know there's some people that wish that uh was it the detective?
Oh,
Well,
sure.
like the other guy was,
Right,
like
and it's Mark Kincaid from Scream 3, and
yeah,
I would have been totally great with that because that was what we were led to believe, especially with the ending of 3 and kind of the phone call in Scream 5. And they wanted to go that route, but he wasn't available for the filming of the movie because that
okay.
actor actually just started his own TV show, so he
Oh,
chose
okay.
that route, and that's okay. I mean, it is what it is, but to be honest, what we got wasn't bad. I thought that Sydney, I thought Joel, and her had really great chemistry.
Yeah, I did too. I thought they worked well together.
Yeah, it's fun to see how, in Scream 5, we kind of hear a little bit about her life, and now we get to see how it plays out. And, one thing that we do find out is just really sweet is, she's a mom, and her oldest daughter is named Tatum. How cool is that?
Yeah, she named her after her best friend, her best high school friend there.
Yeah, a character we all loved in
Yeah.
Scream 1. Well, things aren't going to stay happy because Sydney gets an oh so familiar phone call from Ghostface, but this time the killer requests a video call and it's revealed to be a very scarred and much older Stu Macher. What was your reaction, dude?
Yeah, it was cool to see Stu back, and you always have that question: is this the real him, or is this AI, like some kind of deep fake
Right,
or something?
right.
And I think at this point we're kind of led to believe that it's well, yeah, they didn't really know at this point. Like Sydney didn't know if this was really Stu, and that
This is the
was
first phone call. Yep.
yeah, that was kind of the whole question throughout the movie. But she's like, she made the comment, "Oh, you're just another idiot hiding behind a mask," or whatever. He's like, "Oh, I'm not hiding," and then he calls and it's
Not anymore.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
And but yeah, but we'll get into it. But I thought that was interesting to have him just pop up like that.
I've been wanting Stu back in the franchise ever since learning about what the potential script for Scream 3 was. So
Yeah,
going into 5, I wanted Stu. Going into 6, I wanted Stu. I feel like every movie since then has kind of hinted that you could get Stu, but
right.
not as much as this movie. However, going in this movie, I was reserved. I was like, look, I'm probably going to get faked out again, but one thing I know for sure is Matthew Lillard is in the movie, whether he's playing Stu Macher or just versions of Stu Macher. I'm just excited to see him. So my reaction was like, "Hey, cool! There's Matthew Lillard. I love this." And
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I
um,
liked it too.
yeah, and Stu says that he's gonna go after Tatum now, which is like, oh, we got like a shift here. Like it's always after Sydney, but now it's Sydney's family,
Hmm.
and that's kind of what this movie's all about. Is people talk about how this movie doesn't feel like a Scream movie because there's not a lot of meta, with rules and this, and this, and this. This is a movie that's all about Sidney Prescott, not about stab movies.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It feels very personal, and it took me kind of a little while to get on board with it, but once I really bought into it, I thought there was a lot of things that are very well done. And Stu is very fucking creepy in this movie.
Yeah, he's very animated and like uh
Villainous.
villainous, yeah. But yeah, no, I think as a character, I mean, I think they did well, like kind of reprising the role here.
Oh, for sure, man. And the look again, very believable. Like it's aged Matthew Lillard. He's all scarred up, and I guess what it would look like if a TV fell on you and you got stitched up or whatever. I bought into it. I thought it was neat as shit. And Stu says that he's going to go after Tatum because, oh, look at here, he's actually standing outside of the school where her and her friends are like rehearsing a theater play. And Andy, I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag right here. I thought this was probably the best scene in the whole movie, the sequence of the kills that we get on stage.
Oh yeah, this was really cool, and it was really surprising because it's McKenna Grace. You know, she's like one of the big names that's
Dude,
in
I
this
thought McKenna
movie.
Grace was going to be a Ghostface in this movie. She's
Me
such a
too.
big actress. And
Exactly, yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but they pretty much just pulled the rug out from under us. We got another Drew Barrymore thing going on.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, we get
Could
our
have seen
first
it coming.
yeah, and we get our first couple of kills here with pretty and this pretty effective scene with the stage and the the
So
theater.
good.
And you didn't really know what's going to happen, but yeah, it's great effects. It's really effective, man.
The cinematography, like the script itself was creative enough, but they were able to pull it off in a way that was so stylish. Like sometimes you hear the comment like, "Oh, this had style over substance," or vice versa. Like this had both. Like we had Stu Macher luring us into the scene. We had one off-screen kill, and that was with Aaron, the guy who was like supposed to be controlling the board, because Hannah McGrace's character, or I said, no, I McKenna Grace. I said Hannah Grace. That's so funny. That's a movie, right? Anyways, Hannah's character, she's like suspended, like she's Peter Pan or something. She's like flying around, but she's not Peter Pan. She's like this fairy or something. But it's so creative as she swings left and right. Ghostface is toying with her. He's playing with it. It feels like such a Ghostface kill, if I'm being honest. Like this is going to go down. It definitely is one of the best kills in the franchise because it's creative and damn, is it brutal.
Oh, it is. Yeah, you just at first, he's just like you said, toying with her, just kind of like, and then she kind of slashes her arm, slashes her leg, and you're
Every
like,
time
oh
she
man,
swings by, she gets cut just a little more.
yeah. But then
Oh.
that final one is like, oh my gosh, it
And
was,
she gets gutted. And come on,
yeah.
like if that's not a callback to Stu, like even in the
Oh
beginning,
yeah,
getting gutted from growing to sternum, I'm like, it kind of just happened right here.
yeah.
But her guts like spill out, and it's pretty graphic. I was
Oh
very
yeah.
impressed, at this scene. But correct me if I'm wrong. After this happens, Sidney I'm gonna call her Sidney Prescott. I know she's Sidney Evans, but come on, Sidney shows up, and dude, doesn't she show up like guns ablazing at this
She
point?
does. She comes into the auditorium, sees Ghostface, and she just takes a couple of shots. Of course, the Ghostface runs off, but
This Sydney is like shoot first, ask questions later, and I like it.
yeah. Well, and her husband and the other police are not far, but are right behind her, so they're all there, and they go to make sure that Tatum's okay. Because Tatum's not actually on the stage; she's downstairs, which we get a little shot of Ghostface downstairs in the costume room with Tatum at first, which
Yep.
I thought that was kind of cool. It's funny because in that little shot, I missed Ghostface back in the back walking through those costumes at first,
Okay.
but the second time I watched it, I caught the face going through. It's like, oh, there he is, and
Yes.
so that was cool. Yeah, there's things I definitely caught this time around that I didn't catch the first time. So
Yeah, and you text me. You were like, it was better the second time. Like even like you loved it the first time, you loved it even more the second time. And don't you
yeah,
love when that happens? And I feel like you could say that about probably any movie in this franchise. First opinions and everything is something to gawk at because the more you watch a movie, you catch things you miss, but also the things you love, you just end up loving more, and it's great. And I can say that because I've probably seen every one of these movies, with the exception of seven, five or more times. Like some I've seen a gazillion, but even the ones I thought I less cared about, I've started to really love.
yeah.
You talked about, when Cindy comes in and her daughter Tatum is there. Ben's obviously there, and Ben's like going to be the red herring in this movie. It's the boyfriend, and so much so that when we first met Ben earlier in the movie, we found out really quick that Nev Campbell's character not a fan of the boyfriend.
No, she does not trust him, and uh, and even Tatum says not every not every guy's Billy Loomis or something like that,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And he even was trying to like act like Billy Loomis. I'm like, oh, that was an interesting choice.
that's true, yeah, because that whole scene in her bedroom, it was like they were replaying that first scene with Billy and
Yeah. And I
Sid.
couldn't tell if it was like a love letter, which clearly that's what they were going for, but it was almost playing out like a scary movie scene where they were making fun of it. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But still, it is what it is. Next sequence we get is pretty cool. More scenes of the trailer where this time we're going to get the attack on Sydney, Tatum, and Mark from inside their house because holy shit, Ghostface was in the attic.
Yeah, this is such a cool scene. It's such a
Did you not
it's
get Black Christmas vibes?
oh, I didn't even think about that, but you're totally right. Yeah, being in
Okay,
the
how about
attic.
now?
Yeah. No, when I think about it, yeah, because the police search the house, don't see anybody, and then he was up in the attic, comes down, and man, this ghost face that this is the only time. I mean, we find out, who this ghost face is pretty quick, but he was like pretty effective, pretty could handle himself pretty well, like
Yeah, he
against.
was menacing as all get out.
Yeah, and so this scene was really really thrilling. Like it has had like a lot of suspense to it. And this is where we see the panic room, like you said, like
Yep.
they're like packing up to leave town or whatever, and then Ghostface pops up out of nowhere and like, oh shoot, and so they have to try to defend themselves, and that's when they run to that panic room, and then the her husband he tries to fight off Ghostface, and he kind of gets knocked out a little bit.
Classic fall down the stairs scene, which
Yeah,
every Scream movie loves to feature, and I'm a fan.
right.
It's like every time somebody falls down the stairs, take a shot.
Yeah,
But you're right, man. Like Mark gets knocked out. We see the escape room thing, and it's in the wall, so it's really cool. But damn, man, like you said, this Ghostface was so menacing, so brutal. Like, can definitely. You actually think Ghostface is probably going to get the upper hand so many times, but he doesn't, Andy, because he runs outside and he gets brutally run over by it was either an SUV or a van, but who was behind the wheel?
hey, it's a familiar face, Gail Weathers.
Yo Weathers, and she's joined by the twins, which was an
Yeah,
interesting thing.
yeah, Chad and Mindy, we get them back.
Welcome back from Scream 5 and 6. I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, so we get our core two.
Core 2, that's right.
Um,
Ouch.
but it's funny, Chad says, I didn't think we'd be involved in vehicular manslaughter our first minute into town, back into town or whatever. But
Yeah,
it was yeah, like you said, such a cool entrance for them though. It's like, yeah.
and again, it was very like, how can I, almost like Scooby Doo, kind of like people
Oh,
show
okay.
up and like, oh shit, we hit Ghostface or whatever. But Andy, I mean, here's a surprising moment, as Scream loves to do. But for the first time, we're 40 minutes in, and Ghostface is dead.
Yeah.
And of course, we gotta unmask this fucker. Who is it?
Yeah, it's like I didn't recognize him at first, like, who is that? But then whenever Sydney says, oh, I saw him earlier today, oh, it's like, oh, it's the Carl guy from the coffee shop.
Yeah, did you recognize him on the second watch though? Because he has a scene where he's like a 2 second scene.
Yeah, at the coffee shop, he orders the
Yep.
coffee and it says Carl on the cup. And I uh it's weird because even the second time around, I didn't think the guy laying on the ground necessarily looked like the guy from the I mean, he
Oh,
kind of
really?
resembled him, but and
Huh.
also I don't know if it's just because he was laying on the ground or whatever, but his face was just looked a little different. Probably because he had like a shocked expression on his face, compared to
As one might have, right?
yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is well, and it kind of goes back to it reminds me of Scream 6 where they
Oh yeah,
kill off a Ghostface very early in the movie. Well, that one was really early in the movie. This one was a little bit more in the middle of the movie.
sure.
But
Um,
yes, yeah.
and that's what these Scream movies love to do. They love to push boundaries. They love to change the rules of certain things. They love to comment on things. And I thought this was really cool because we talk about Carl Gibbs, and it's like, who the hell is Carl Gibbs? And it's like, oh yeah, he was the guy from the coffee shop. Well, we also find out he was a murderer who escaped from a nearby mental hospital institution. And I'm thinking, oh, that's some sweet Michael Myers vibes right there.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a classic like slasher theme there.
And Gail loves a good investigation, so she convinces Sydney, and Sydney's all about it. They're going to figure out who Carl was, so they actually go to this mental institution that we briefly saw in the trailer, and we get to meet Marco, who is played by Ethan Embry, and Marco is the guy who, I don't know if he like runs the institution or if he's just a supervisor there, but he knew Carl. And he tells us about Carl, but guess what? He also recognizes Stu because Stu is a John Doe.
Yeah, he does recognize Stu, and so he starts talking about yeah, Stu being there at the psychiatric hospital, how he was like a homeless person in California, and somehow got into that psychiatric hospital, and they
Yeah, he
and
said like he had become friends with Carl and they would hang out together. And Andy, I mean, I know I'm 50% in for a setup. I'm probably not going to get Stu, but man, they keep making it feel like I'm going to because I'm like, wait, someone has actually seen him.
yeah.
His memory's erased. I was like, if you got your head crushed by a TV, that could be traumatic enough to have. I mean, I'm like, dude, I think I'm finally going to get Stu in this movie.
I know, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love what they're doing. I love the whole investigation. Let's figure out more. I really like what's happening so far.
Yeah, me too.
But you know, Chad and Mindy are back, and we need more for them to do. So let's let Mindy do what she does best. And she wants to rally up the characters and tell us the rules of the movie that we're playing by this time. So she tells Tatum, bring all your friends together in one place because odds are the killer is probably one of your friends. And so they all gather at a tavern because the town is closed for curfew, much like they did in Scream 1. But Andy, come on. You and I both know what's happening. This is just one place for Ghostface to kill a lot of people.
Yeah, I love this. They have the curfew thing like in the first Scream, and they play the Red Right Hand song, so I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easily one of Julie's favorite things about the whole thing is she usually the song is accompanied by Dewey, but at least getting the song just gives you the old Scream vibe.
Oh yeah.
And there's a couple things going on at this point. All the friends are together, learning about the rules, learning about the kills and what's happened. A little fill us in from previous movies, but at the same time, Sidney is getting interviewed by Gail Weathers for the first time, which is crazy hard to believe. But they're doing it live on TV, and it's a ploy to try to get Stu to call them.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting little interaction between Gail and Sydney because Gail starts trying to press her on her kids and Sydney's like, I don't want to talk about my kids, and so there's a little tension there. And
Yes.
Sydney just kind of ends the interview, and but Stu does not call in at that point, and then he does call in after the cameras basically stopped rolling. That's when he calls in and kind of tells Sydney, "Hey, I'm at the place where your daughter's at," and so that's when Sydney realizes her daughter's in real danger.
Yeah, man. Also, this is a scene where Ghostface is going to take care of unfinished business because he shows up at the house and attacks Mark. And I thought this was a really cool scene.
Yeah, I remember. So the trailer kind of ruined this for me. Is I knew it was going to happen because there's like a shot of him getting wrapped in the plastic or whatever,
Yep.
and yeah. So I knew that this was coming, but I didn't know where at. But yeah, this is a really suspenseful scene because he's walking around. There's that new addition, or it's like their garage,
Yeah, they're
but
like
they're like
renovating or
they're
something.
renovating it. You know what movie? Well, you probably have never seen it. Have you seen Lethal Weapon?
I've seen Lethal Weapon.
Okay, so
Thanks for
in
having
that.
faith in me.
Sorry, well, it's like an action movie. I didn't really know
Hey,
if
I'll
you.
have you know that we were watching Face Off last night, so I do like action movies, bro.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah,
So this kind of reminds me of that because Lieutenant Riggs, his house was under construction during either
that's right.
part one or part two. I can't remember
I
now.
think part two, right? Because that's the one where he gets stuck on the toilet.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Ha ha.
So, but yeah, this was but back to Scream. This was a great scene, man, because you got the plastic
It's like
hanging
those
down.
tarps.
Yeah, and so it's kind of blocks off part of the room so you can't see, and it's like you have these shadows and stuff, and yeah, so it's really suspenseful because I didn't know. I knew that Ghostface was gonna pop out somewhere
Right.
because
I
he
was
heard.
getting I Know What You Did Last Summer vibes when they were in the shop store and they had all the tarps down
Oh,
and the
that's right.
fisherman
That's
was
right.
hiding like a mannequin. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
But in this movie, I've already paired it to Halloween a couple times, but Ghostface has a very Michael Myers thing about him. Like the way he just appears in shadows and then, hides in the background and you see him. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Ghostface. Yeah, I mean, I like, yeah, especially in this movie, there are a couple of shots that really hark that are I feel like inspired by Michael Myers, and I think there was a shot earlier in the Stu Macher house where there was like a dark hallway,
Yes.
and the Ghostface kind of
Yes.
shown briefly, but then it went back into the shadows. And
Yes.
in this, he does the same thing. He like shows up behind one of the sheets of plastic, but then it kind of like he kind of like fades away. Like it's I noticed on the second time around, like he's behind the plastic and then he's not. Like he fades away.
Right.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
and remember when I compared like the killer being in the attic to like Black Christmas? Think
yeah.
about it. When he wraps Mark up in the like clear plastic or whatever, remember that happens in Black Christmas where she
Oh
gets
yeah,
suffocated.
yeah. The first
It's
girl
on the
that gets
cover,
killed.
guys. I didn't spoil it.
Yeah.
But it's still really cool because he wraps him up and he just starts stabbing him and then you
Oh
see the
yeah,
blood coming out and it's a
yeah,
really cool aesthetic.
yeah. I was like, oh well.
Were you feeling it? Were you like, ah, damn, don't date Sidney Prescott? As Andy mentioned, Ghostface did call Sidney, and again, it's Stu Macher, and he's telling her, I'm outside the tavern where Tatum is. Dude, we gotta talk about the kills. Like, we just saw him potentially finish off Mark. What does he do to these damn kids, though?
Yeah, this is a pretty crazy scene. I mean, because they collect all the whole friend group into this tavern because they suspect that at least one Ghostface is part of the friend group. And boy, were they wrong, because they all kind of split up at one point too, because Tatum and her boy and Ben go to where Tatum wants to go see her mom, and so Ben's like, "I'll drive you." So them two leave, and then Chloe, they smell something burning, so Chloe's like, "Oh, it's a pizza," so she has to go to the kitchen. And then the true crime kid, Lucas, what's his?
Lucas. Yeah, Lucas.
He's like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom," so he goes to the bathroom, and then Minnie and Chatter just love sitting there like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
They're like, "Didn't everybody, all of our suspects, just conveniently leave at the same time?"
Yeah. They're all in on it. Nope.
But no, we had a pretty cool scene in the kitchen here because Chloe's back there taking care of some burnt pizza, and then she sees Ghostface.
Yeah, man. And I had a hard time watching this scene because it just made me really want pizza.
Oh yeah, it looked like some good pizza, man.
I love pizza. Oh my God. Okay.
You know,
Um,
I'm glad that Ghostface waited until they ate their pizza before
yes.
he started attacking them.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad in this movie, unlike House of the Devil, people actually eat the pizza.
That's true.
But my dude, we are given what has to be the most insane, brutal, and Art the Clown style death scene we've ever seen in a Scream movie.
Oh yeah, with Lucas, yeah,
With
because
Lucas. Oh, poor Lucas.
and it's even more crazy who the Ghostface is at this point, who I believe it is. Well, we can talk
Yeah,
about that, but
yeah, yeah. And you know, at this point, like when Chloe is being chased by Ghostface, also like there's something real sweet going on between Chloe and Lucas. There's kind
yeah,
of this like unspoken interest between them that
hmm
we think's gonna envelop, and it definitely doesn't. So Chloe gets attacked. She comes out. Ben's like, or not Ben. Lucas is like, I got you. He goes like through the doors, and then he comes back just seconds later, and he's like holding his stomach, and it's like all
hmm
bloody. I
yeah,
thought like, oh, it's fake.
yeah,
Lucas
that
is faking it because
exactly.
Scream likes to do some fake kills. Am I right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was anybody that was getting killed, like yeah, I was like sure, whatever.
Yeah, when we see people die off screen or get hurt off screen, we have to second guess if it really happened. But
hmm
Scream got you because it did happen. He did get stabbed, and then he gets finished off in what has to be the most insane way. Our Ghostface killer takes Lucas, lifts him up, and then in like drops him down on. I don't go to the bar, so I don't have this terminology down, but
It's a beer tap.
beer thanks Andy goes through his skull and a blood fountain pours out of his mouth and it's blood and beer and it's freaking amazing and I love
Yeah.
what they did here. I mean, it's not a typical Ghostface Scream kill. It does kind of take me out of the movie a little bit because I'm like, that's extreme, but it looked really good.
Yeah, and the first time I watched this, like Chloe's kill, I didn't exactly catch what happened with her, but basically Ghostface like picks her up and like slides her down the bar, and she just
Yep,
crashes into a bunch of
a very like
glasses.
Western movie move.
Exactly, and then she has this big shard of glass in her neck, and I think that's what kills
Yeah.
her. So,
Yeah, the glasses
um,
go into her throat, which that'll fuck you up for sure, man. And you mentioned how Tatum wanted to go see mom, so Tatum and Ben go out to Ben's vehicle, but Tatum finds a laptop, and I mean this has got to just assist the red herring even further because the laptop shows Ben doing deep fakes on his face to Stu Macher. I mean, they're either telling us he is Ghostface or they're really forcing that, oh, it's the boyfriend. What are you gonna do?
Right. Yeah. I mean, this was like, okay, so it is him. It is. It isn't. It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and so Tatum thinks it is, and she tries to leave the car, and he's like, kind of putting his hand on her shoulder, and she just like swings and knocks him out with the laptop.
I loved it. Um, So she runs away, and this was cool, man, because you see her running down the streets, and of course, the town is completely vacant. That curfew has everybody locked up. Like, there's not even a cop in sight to enforce the curfew. It is the town that dreaded sundown, and it's really cool. I really like seeing Ghostface walking down the street. It's very menacing, and I was hoping to get multiple Ghostfaces walking down from different directions, but we don't get that. But what we do get is some good chase scenes. But Ben eventually does show up. Okay, and we have Ben here, and we have Ghostface mask here. Well, if you had any question that Ben was Ghostface, those questions are answered because Ghostface pretty much just makes ends meet out of Ben when he gets stabbed a thon and dropped down. So Ben is definitely not the killer. He's dead.
Yeah. Well, and I was like, is he dead? I was like, man, is this?
Right? Did he get stabbed in the head? Because unless they're hitting the head, you never know for sure. But yeah, we're led to believe that Ben is definitely dead at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, Tatum has to
Tatum,
just keep running away from Ghostface, and she goes to a familiar place.
thank goodness that her family owns a coffee house.
Yeah, so she knows the code to get in the front door.
Yes, she does, man. But guess what? So does Ghostface. Ain't that
Yeah,
weird?
I was wondering, how does Ghostface know that code? I don't know,
Because
but
Ghostface knows Sydney. That's what they're telling us.
yeah.
Or
Oh, interesting.
knows her. Yeah, yeah. Think about that for a minute,
Okay.
right? So, okay, I mean, hey, I'm just saying, if you lived next door to me and I had a business and I needed somebody to be able to check something out if I wasn't around, I'd trust you. You know what I'm saying? But
Man,
so
okay.
yeah, you see what I'm doing there? In the trailer, we get a lot of scenes where Tatum is being watched through cameras. Well, this is that scene. Tatum is hiding inside the coffee house. Sydney realizes that she can't make it there. I don't know why she doesn't get Gail to take her over there, but the script has her running down the streets,
Yeah.
realizing she's not going to get there in time. So she's face calling, and I think it creates good tension. I mean, you can say what you want about the script for this movie, it's kind of all over the place, a lot of unbelievability things going on, but it does create some pretty cool sequences. And it definitely puts Sydney in a position that she's very familiar with, and it's like it's all on me. I gotta save people.
Yeah. Yep.
Luckily, Sydney keeps guns in the coffee house because Tatum's able to get a gun from the safe, and she's guiding her of hide in this room, trap yourself. Okay, now shoot, and Lord behold, it works. Like she shoots Ghostface. Ghostface falls down. Now you got to go out and unmask this Ghostface, but don't hesitate. But my dude, she hesitates. She doesn't double tap, and she needs to get out of Dodge. And then the coolest thing happens. We get another Ghostface, and I was like, yes, we are finally getting the cult of Ghostface rumor is coming to life. I'm very excited. We have two Ghostface at one time right here, and we had one die earlier. So this movie has three Ghostfaces. Could it finally come to fruition? Well, wait and see. But this sets up where Tatum's going to get kidnapped, and Ghostface tells Sydney, Sydney's like, "Where's Tatum? Where's my daughter?" And Ghostface is like, "Oh, well, you want to find her? You got to go to where the heart is." Andy, where's the heart?
Home.
Home is where the heart is. So we're gonna go back to the beginning of the movie, where we saw Sydney's house, and this is a really cool sequence because once Sydney goes in there, we see several TVs in the house. And this is where a lot of us predicted how we're going to get some cameos.
Yeah, it's like, how do they do this? This because at first it's like the computer turns on and it's like this little virtual like hallway, and then
Yeah.
it comes to this room, and like it's it's Stu, he's showing up, and yeah, she's going through her house. These different screens turn on just at the right time as she's walking through that room, and it's like a different past Ghostface. I thought so.
Somebody snuck into her house and did all this programming. They probably
Yeah,
have a degree. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But look, we knew a lot of us pay attention to IMDb. We knew we were getting flashbacks or AI. Okay, cat's out of the bag. We're getting AI because these TVs go from Stu to Nancy Loomis to Roman Bridger to Dewey. I didn't love that, but I did appreciate what they were going for.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to have Dewey in there too because he was never a ghost face.
Yeah, and it would have made more sense if Gale had been there and Dewey like appeared to Gale. I thought that would have been a lot more effective, but
Oh,
no,
you know what they should have done instead of Dewey? They should have had Mickey,
Mickey.
Timothy Oliphant.
Well, they
That would have been
wanted him. They wanted
yeah.
him and Jill, but they weren't available.
Psh.
Yeah, can't.
What else were they doing, man? Come on.
I know. Hey, Timothy Oliphant's busy as hell. You know
Oh, I'm
that.
sure.
That
Yeah,
guy's, outside of Courtney Cox, she's definitely the like biggest person in this whole franchise because she was making Friends episodes for $1 million a pop. So,
yeah,
but again, I digress. You know, Sydney sees all these TV monitors. They eventually turn off. She goes to the back door. We see Tatum tied to a chair while Ghostface is, standing there with a knife. And dude, this movie has been a complete reversal of the original film. If you think about it, we went from the Stu Macher house to
Oh yeah.
Sydney's house, and in the
Yep.
first movie, you have Drew Barrymore's house to the Stu Macher house, even
Yep.
with the whole like Steve tied to a chair. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that until you just pointed that out. But that is pretty cool.
Hey man, do you got to watch? Because it is Ghostface reveal time
It
again.
is. Yep.
Ghostface unmasked, and it's Marco, the guy from the
Marco, yeah.
mental institution. And he lets us know that he's been the mastermind behind all the deep fakes of Stu and the other characters.
Yeah,
And
so
yeah,
yeah, because he's this AI guy, but he's like a
I
orderly
think
at
he
the
even said he worked for Google. I was like,
yeah.
oh, that cost him some money.
So how did he go from that to being this orderly at a psychiatric hospital? That's what I want to know. It's kind of weird.
Again, that's the script for you, my dude. That's what I don't know what you wanted, but that's what you're getting. And so he also reveals that Mark is still alive and in a bad way. And I guess Mark is kind of the new do or your Chad, where he can get stabbed multiple times, but he's going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. The plot armor.
But I'm okay with it because Sydney, don't kill her husband. That's fucked up.
Yeah, but so Marco's kind of like kind of has his little monologue, but he's like, "Isn't that right, Stu?" And then
Oh
we get
man,
the
I
yeah.
was so excited. He calls out Stu. Stu comes walking out in the Ghostface attire from like the hedges or whatever, and I
Yep.
was just like, I got my kid next to me, I got Julie next to me, I got Marty, everybody's there, and I'm like, I told you Stu is back. I'm so excited. Here we go. Take off the mask, Matthew Lillard. Holy shit, it's not Matthew Lillard.
Uh,
Andy, who is the final Ghostface?
it's Ghostface Barbie.
Ugh, it's Jessica,
Yeah, Jessica the
someone else
neighbor.
who only had like 1 to 2 scenes in the movie,
Yeah, she's the neighbor. Yep,
which makes sense. So why she would have the code to the coffee shop,
and she's also Lucas's mom too.
right? Okay, pause. What the hell? I mean, and the award for the worst mom in the franchise goes to Jessica. She killed her own son. What?
I guess like yeah, I think that was her, but I don't know. I've heard other people online say that it had to be Marco because Jessica wouldn't be able to lift him up like that. But I don't know.
Well,
Like,
I mean, come on. We all know there's ghost face magic. Come on. I mean,
yeah,
you go down that
because
route.
there's people that said that Marco was at the coffee shop attacking Tatum, but then you pointed out that Ghostface knew the door code,
Correct.
so that sounds like it would be Jessica.
But of course, Jessica could give Marco the code. I mean,
That's true. That's true.
we could go in circles forever, but
Yeah.
the idea is like all three of these characters were in on it, and we're gonna get the exposition, motive dump, if you will. And this is kind of cool because Jessica starts mentioning Sydney's autobiography, which I love because I'm a big fan of Scream 4, so it's a little nod to Scream 4.
Hmm.
And she came to the conclusion that Sydney succeeded in life because she killed everybody who tormented her, prompting Jessica to kill her abusive husband. And
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want. That's not the best motive in the world. It works. Definitely escape a relationship like that for sure. But also, she was really like mad that Sydney wasn't around for the Ghostface murders in New York. And she
Hmm.
took that personally that Sydney wasn't there to save people. And so, after Jessica killed her husband, she spent time in a mental institution where she met Carl and Marco, and they all planned this whole thing out. And so by movie magic, she was able to move next door to Sydney and launch this whole thing. And again, I can't help but be like, but you killed your son, you crazy lady. Like, that's terrible.
Yeah, it is, even Sydney even says, your son, you have Lucas, and she's like, oh, he's gone. He was gonna be he was too much like his father anyway, or something like that. It's like,
Which is so
dang.
crazy because we've spent time with Lucas and I got no vibes like that. Lucas was great.
Yeah, no, he was a cool kid.
He wanted a true crime podcast, which means he was awesome.
Yeah, but
But the one thing I did like though with this is Jessica said that she wants to make Tatum the new Sydney, and I think we were always getting that vibe anyway. But I thought like that's motive enough for me. Like I like that.
the only thing I didn't understand was what was Jessica and Marco gonna do after they killed Sydney? Like, okay, so Tatum witnesses her mom died. Now what? Are they gonna run away? Are they gonna turn
Right? I
themselves
mean
in?
that.
I don't
Who knows,
know.
man? I mean that's definitely a plot hole, and maybe they were gonna escape and come back and haunt her later, or maybe there's more Ghostface killers out there. Maybe there is a cult. I mean, maybe Stu is really alive, maybe not. I was very confused by this movie because part of me was like, okay, Stu's not alive, but this is like the next best thing. I'm pretty happy with what I got. And then part of me is like, wait, is this like a big fuck you to people who wanted Stu? Like this kind of sucks. But then again, I mean, people have went out and said like, hey, what if the first phone call was Stu, and then none of the rest were? Maybe Stu is still alive. Maybe these are all just members of the cult. I don't know. Believe what you want. We're going to get a Scream 8. Maybe those questions will be answered. But we got to deal with Scream 7 first. And by that, I mean we still got two Ghostface left to kill. And Andy, this is the most don't blink and you miss it scene because as Jessica is saying that Tatum's going to be the new Sydney, the husband's on the floor, Mark. He's able to untie Jessica while
You mean
all this is
you mean
happening, or
Tatum?
untie Tatum. Yes, untie Tatum. Sydney shoots Marco in the head and kills him, and he's dead. I was
Yeah.
like, and exit the movie, Ethan Embry. It was nice to see you for the few minutes we got.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep.
But a fight breaks out between Sydney, Tatum, and Jessica. And look, man, if anybody knows anything, it's you don't fuck with Sidney Prescott or her daughter. And I know her name's Evans, but they unload several bullets into Jessica. Since you brought up Mickey earlier, this was a very Scream 2 situation when they unloaded all them bullets into Mickey.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. They actually, because there was this little scuffle between Sydney and Jessica, and Sydney stabbed Jessica like in the mid gut, in the stomach or whatever, several times. And then even Tatum
Like
came
rapid
up and
fire, man.
yeah, and Tatum came up and shot her a couple times, and then Sydney was like, "Okay, but we got to shoot her in the head." And they turn around and she's gone. Like, really, she's gonna be getting up that fast from those
Yeah.
injuries? But then I liked how when they're walking around in the garage looking for her, like, before they really started fighting, like Sydney was in the garage again, like her husband walking around this hanging plastic sheets and stuff, and Jessica puts the Ghostface like costume up behind one, and so Sydney thinks that's Ghostface, and she goes to attack, but then realizes it's not. But then we see like Jessica dropping down from the ceiling. I thought that was pretty cool. You see her
Michael
dropping
Myers, H2O.
exactly, yeah,
Yep. Well, they kill Jessica,
yeah,
hopefully.
yeah. Her head is like her head is just like a big crater at this point.
Yes. The movie wraps up. Mark gets taken to the hospital. Sydney kind of reconciles with Gail. She was pretty angry with the interview, but deep down, it's kind of revealed that Sydney is always. She realizes that Gail's always been there for her in one way or another, and that she is truly a good friend. And Gail gives blessing to Mindy to do the news thing, which again, kind of weird, but we'll take it. But then we get a sweet scene where like Tatum realizes why her mom named her Tatum, and it's very nice.
Yeah, they finally had this little talk that it's like whenever they start talking about Sydney's past, Sydney kind of shuts down and like changes the subject,
Yeah.
and it really frustrates Tatum because she wants to ask questions and talk about this stuff, and Sydney really doesn't. So yeah, we get this little like kind of a moment here between the two, Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Like, and then Tatum's like, yeah, because I'm Sidney fucking Prescott's daughter, you know. That's what she's
Yeah,
so
such sass.
yeah.
And that's the movie, man. You know, it's not the longest Scream movie, but it's close. It's up there in minutes. But it goes by pretty quick, and you know, I really like it, man. How about you?
Yeah, like you said, this movie's like 2 hours long, but it does if it goes by quick. I mean, there's a lot of action. There's a lot of great characters in this movie. Of course, the friend group is obliterated, so there's not a whole lot of people to go on to Scream 8. There's
Right.
Tatum, I guess, you know, and like Sid and
Chad and
Gale,
Mindy,
Chad and Mindy, yeah.
keep them going. On it. Okay, so here's what it boils down to. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
With Scream 7, what we got, what would you want for the next Scream movie to be? Where can it go from here?
So I'm trying to think about logically where would it go. So if it's, I guess it depends on who it's going to follow. It seems like it's going to follow Tatum. Like, are they setting Tatum up to be the final role? Because that's kind of what Jessica was wanting.
Isabel May was great
Yeah. Oh
as
yeah, she was
Tatum.
good.
Loved her.
So if it's following her, is she going to go to college? Are we going to get another
Right.
Scream 2, you know, kind of
Which
thing?
she wore her mom's jacket from Scream 2. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, that's right. Or I've heard, I've also, are we going to continue to follow Sid or Gale? Maybe I don't know. Like, I feel like in the next one of either Sid or Gale has to get killed. You know,
Oh, I've been saying that for years. I don't think
like
I don't
yeah,
think they're gonna do it, man.
yeah. Like in the
I t
first and the next one, and the next one, Scream 8. They need to do like pull like the Cotton Weary kill, or
oh
they have
shit,
like Gale get killed in the beginning or something like that. That would be
for
cool.
sure. Anybody who shows up in the beginning, you know, outside of Scream 5, yeah. I'll tell you what I want, man.
Yeah.
Scream 7 is kind of like the Halloween 3 to me.
Okay.
It's it was definitely different from the previous movies, and I still like it a lot. Like I love Halloween 3. I love Halloween 1 and 2 more, but I still love Halloween 3. And I feel the same thing about Scream 7. I still love it. It's a Scream movie. It has a lot of great things about it. The script wasn't the best, but it kept the franchise alive. Like I never thought I'd be sitting here talking to you about Scream 7 for crying out loud. This thing
Yeah.
died at 3 and then we got a 4 and then, you know. But the reason I bring that up is I would love it if some apologies can be said, some people can make up, and I want to get back to things because I really do like Scream 5 and 6 a lot. And I love the Carpenter sisters. I love the Core 4. I love some of the fresh new things we got. Of course, I love Sydney. Of course, I love things that happened in this movie to give us everybody. But I would like them to bring it home again with everyone. So you asked me what I want for Scream 8. Let's keep everything canon and let's bring everybody back together and let's pursue more things. You know, it would be great. Like we heard what original ideas Scream 7 was going to be. Things had to get changed or rewritten. That's cool. Life goes on. People make mistakes. Say what you will. Whatever. We got a movie out of it. Scream 8, let's hone it back in, you know?
What do you think about adding a supernatural element into Scream 8? Would you be for or against that?
As mentioned, they did it in Scream 3 with Roman. I loved it. I didn't love it the first time. It grew on me. Then I thought it was awesome. Sure, let's do it.
I don't know, like either have I don't know what it would be. Like having a past killer come back or
Fuck yeah.
Well,
Sorry, I
yeah,
talk about this every day. Yes,
yeah.
100%. That would be
But
amazing.
I don't know.
As
But
long as it's
then
not Jessica or Marcos.
yeah. But I do really like the whodunit aspect of these movies. That's kind of the big draw for me is the whodunit, the mystery. Who's Ghostface going to be in this
I forgot
one?
to ask you, did you predict either killer in this movie?
You know, I was wondering about Jessica. I had no clue about Marco. I didn't
I was
even.
going to say, if you had said Marco, I'd have been like, you would have been the only one who saw that coming.
Oh, there's people online like, oh yeah, I could tell it was Marco. I was like, okay, whatever. Even though like looking back on it now, I'm like, okay, it's Ethan Embry. It's a very recognizable face.
Yes.
Like he should have had a bigger part. Like
Yes.
so that like that
It
kind of like
stands out
makes
now.
yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense that he was like, okay, that he's gonna be Ghostface because he's this recognizable guy. But I did even, you know, I was kind of wondering about Jessica because earlier in the movie she has a scene where she talks about you know, being in an abusive relationship and something I forget, but they had her and Sydney had this conversation in the coffee shop and so I suspected her, but I also suspected Ben, the boyfriend.
Of
I
course.
suspected Lucas, the true
Of
crime
course.
kid. I suspected McKenna Grace because she was just I don't know. She wore plaid. I don't know.
That is true, man. That
But
is the Scream thing. If you're wearing blue plaid, you are a Ghostface. But they broke that rule this time.
I
I
didn't
think
see.
Liv in Scream 5 had blue plaid skirt too. But anyway,
Yeah. So, oh yeah, you're right. But I didn't expect the third killer, Carl. That was
that was
a
cool.
surprise. Yeah, I like that, dude. I really like that. I like it when they have. I just like it when they do something different with Ghostface. So I hope that in Scream 8 they do something different.
We will see because we know we're probably gonna get it. But dude, that wraps up our conversation on Scream 7. We finally got to have it. It's been a lot of fun. I love it. And if you're down, I mean, we haven't discussed our next episode yet. I'm open for whatever you choose. But down the road, I definitely want to do some maybe like top three like Scream openings, maybe like top five kills, top five maybe reveals. I mean, I just dropped my phone. There goes that phone. But it's definitely something fun with that. As we think about what our next movie is, we'll start thinking about what our next like top five can be. But
Yeah.
I got to do what you did, man. I got to see if I can go see it a second time.
Yeah, do it, man.
I'm
If
gonna
it's
I'm
still in the
gonna
theater.
go
Well,
pick up
this
Riley and we're gonna go.
yeah, this week I was looking at this weekend. It's like, yeah, there's other movies coming out this weekend. I probably will see first, but uh yeah, it's they got some bangers coming out in the next couple weeks. So,
Hell
uh
yeah.
but yeah, it's
Good
it's
time to
gonna
have A-list.
yeah, exactly.
Awesome, man. You got anything else?
Nope, that'll do for me.
Hell yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys checking out this episode and listening to us talk about Scream 7, a franchise we love oh so much. I'm Phantom Dark Dave,
And I'm Abnormal Andy.
and you've been listening to the Scream and Skull podcast.
See ya.